Hi there, my name is Suze and I'm a divine feminine energy healer and guide. Let's answer another comment question today. I so appreciate each one of you when you comment and really just help me know that what I'm speaking about is so relevant for what you're dealing with on your journey and how it resonates so deeply with things you've been working through and feeling in your own journey. I love that. I am so grateful to be here to be a point of validation and support that yes, you are on the right track. Yes, everything is okay. Yes, we're doing this all together and you're not alone in this journey. So thank you for all those comments. And thank you for those of you who have been leaving me comments of that are questions of things you want me to elaborate on, go a little bit deeper on, or even offer some insights on your journey and your life. And I really appreciate those, especially because I understand how much strength and courage it takes to be open and transparent on such a public platform such as YouTube and to really open your heart and share what's going on, but also the level of trust and value that you place on my insights and what I have to offer in return to your questions. That really means a lot to me. So thank you very, very much for those of you who have been asking me some questions. So I have written out the question comment that I want to speak about today. So I'm going to read that first and then we'll get into it, okay? I'm on my way to increasing my alignment and creating a way out of my current life. Through this journey, I've had to nurture my creation more, which in turn made me less action orientated. Is that how you say that word? I always get confused by that word. Orientated. How can I maintain and honor my internal masculine in my internal feminine's journey? How can I maintain and honor my internal masculine in my internal feminine's journey? First of all, I want to assure you that yes, everything is okay and you are doing exactly what you should be doing and you are exactly where you're supposed to be in this journey. I feel like there is some uncertainty there that maybe something should be different than what it is right now. And I want to reassure you that you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And it sounds to me like you're in a transition space. And in this transition space of learning to grow from a former way of being or a former way of operations, mode of operations, right? And moving into a new state of being and a new sense of how I do things and how I interact with the world and when do I get into action and when do I not be in action. Moving in from one space to another can be confusing and disorientating. I always feel like I'm adding an extra syllable into that word. Don't know why, but I feel like it. It's so weird, you guys. Like, what's wrong with me? Anyway, moving from one place to the next of less action and more alignment can be very discombobulating, right? What I'm hearing in this is that you have had a journey where you were more in a wounded masculine energy, much like myself. That's probably why you were drawn into my channel. Of you had a life previously to being on this alignment journey you're on now. You probably had a life experience where you were a lot more doing and a lot more action, a lot more trying to make things happen or trying to figure things out mentally or working really hard, strategizing, being the strong one, being the one doing the things, making the things happen. You probably were more in that masculine zone. So once you start entering this journey of recognizing I have a feminine side that needs to be honored as well, finding that fine line is very individual, person to person, of finding that fine line of when I am to be more in that masculine and when I'm to be more in the feminine. You get a little wobbly as you find where your edge is. But then eventually it's really beautiful what happens, because at first it feels like you're more in the masculine or you're more in the feminine. Like when I'm doing the things, I'm in my masculine now. I'm going to take action. I'm going to do this thing. It's time for me to take action. And you feel like this empowered masculine strength, right? And then when you're not in the action space and you're in, like this word you said, nurturing, which I love the word nurture. It is so energetically indicative of where you're at when you use the word nurture. So I love that. But when you're in that softer, nurturing, feminine space, you feel very feminine. But the goal is to learn to kind of, first of all, it's like a dance. It's like this dance between the two of learning through your own process of when to be in the action and when to be in the receptivity and the resting. And you dance back and forth. But what ends up happening as you go down this journey, and for me, this took years and years and years and years and years of doing this dance, of focusing more on the feminine and letting her be felt and seen, and letting her, like with myself, my internal feminine, acknowledging her needs and acknowledging, and then getting into the action and making the masculine feel like he's doing something and he's making things happen in the self-worth of the masculine, and then softening. But what ends up happening as you go back and forth is eventually it's not such a separate thing, and they end up coming together and working simultaneously at the same time. And when you feel this starting to shift and happen in you, it is exhilarating because it feels like the whole being of you is wrapping around itself in this just beautiful holding each other, and like wrapping your legs around each other and holding each other's hands, your masculine and your feminine together, wrapping around each other, loving each other, acknowledging the strengths of each other, bringing the strengths of each other out more together, integrating, collaborating together to create this really powerful self-acknowledged being, self-actualized being. And that is how sovereignty feels to me. Okay? So back to your question. It sounds to me, from the information I have from this question, I'm going to read it again. It sounds to me, you said, I'm on my way to increasing my alignment and creating a way out of my current life. Through this journey, I've had to nurture my creation more, which in turn made me less action orientated. How can I maintain and honor my internal masculine when in my internal feminine's journey? So it sounds to me like you're just starting to come out of being more in the hustle culture, doing masculine, and you're finally acknowledging the softness and the needs and the rest of the feminine, right? So it's going to be a process of recognizing where you need to be for you to feel right. Now, I know that sounds very vague. Let me back up a little bit. I would be curious to know what your human design energy type is, because that would have a lot to do with answering this question as well. I will drop a link for that website in my description box below. If the woman who left this comment, if you hear this video and you feel so inclined, comment on this video, or you can email me if you want it to be private. You can email me, that's in the description box as well. I would be curious to know what your energy profile is in human design, because some energetic human design, and it's all based on your birth information, some in human design are going to have a need to be more in action because that is your contribution to the world. But some other energy types, like myself, require a lot more rest and feminine receptivity. So I don't know where you fall energetically with that. So that's kind of like a filter that could be placed over answering this question that could change things a little bit for you. I would be curious to know what your energy profile is. But putting that aside, individually as a person, it's a matter of learning when to be in action and when to not be in action. And the rule of thumb I give to every client I work with as a feminine If you are a divine feminine, she will never get into action. She will never be in the masculine mode unless she is very clear, grounded, calm, peaceful, and has a deep intuitive and heart space knowing that now is the time to do this thing, to make this decision, to take this action. I also want to say that sometimes not taking action is actually the action as well. Never underestimate the decision to not take action, particularly if you're someone who, it sounds like from this question, it sounds to me like you come from a place of being in the past a lot more focused on action and doing. So learning to be in the feminine space more and actively choosing to not take external action on something. And instead, you're taking an internal action of choosing to stand still. That is an action. And that is a very deliberate choice. And it's a very empowering action. Non-action externally, but internally, there's a lot of action because this is when your anxiety will come up. When you're fine-tuning your dance between the two of when to take action and when to not take external action. If you choose to stand still where you are, and that's actually your action for this moment is to stand still, that's exactly when all the self-doubt, the questioning, the uncertainty, the anxiety, all of that is going to bubble up, which is going to require a lot of internal action from you of learning how to calm yourself down, calm the waters. That is action. It's just not apparent to anyone externally. It's only apparent to you. But in that process, you're learning how to validate yourself. And in that process, you are being with your feminine and letting her be fully seen in all the crazy chaos. And no one else has to know but you are seeing. And that is your masculine right there. This is where they're coming together. The masculine in you holding space, non-judgmental, non-rushing, non-shaming, non-dismissing, non-escaping, your inner masculine sitting with the feminine chaos and allowing her to be seen and heard and felt, you with yourself. Again, no one else has to see or know. This is internal work, internal action. That, for me, is the greatest part of this journey, to get to that place of the sovereignty I was talking about. The masculine and the feminine work together. This, when I'm talking about this, not only is this an internal action, this is strengthening your nervous system. It is strengthening your physical body, which is masculine. Anything you can see, your physical frame is actually a masculine structure. Yes, I am a woman. You probably identify as a woman, as a feminine. But energetically speaking, anything you can see is a masculine thing. It's 3D. The unseen is the feminine realm. So if you're learning to calm your anxiety, you're learning to validate and see and acknowledge all the crazy that bubbles up when you choose to stand still and not get into action, you are strengthening your nervous system and strengthening your mental health at the same time. So it's doing a lot. It's actually a lot of action. And you stay in that space and you don't take external, visible, obvious action. You don't take action until you have calmed the waters down and you are clear, you are deeply knowing, you are sure, you do not question yourself and you know that this is the next action or decision you should make. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be scared, because sometimes it's going to be stepping outside of your comfort zone. Doesn't mean you're not going to be scared, but you're going to know in your heart and your soul, you're going to know and be sure that this next action or this next decision externally, this is exactly what I should be doing next. And I mean should in the higher sense. I don't mean guilt trip culturally, belief systems that you've limiting belief systems. That's not what I'm talking about here. It's an inner intuitive knowing and certainty that this is the next thing for me. So I hope that answered your question at the end there was, how can I maintain and honor my internal masculine in my internal feminine's journey? You are honoring and healing. You're healing your inner masculine when you're learning to hold space for the crazy town internally that's happening. And this is going to change things for you in relationships with men with external masculines, because you're learning to trust the masculine. You're healing your inner masculine that's learning to trust that it can sit with the chaos of the feminine internally. And in so doing, you're learning to trust the external in the men, which is a great problem that I see in a lot of relationships, is there's lack of trust in men because of all the hurt that a woman has accumulated from men in her past, and even ancestrally passed down, of unhealed masculine energy suppressing and harming the feminine. It's also going to increase your value of your own heart space and where you're investing your energy. And once you've done this work with your inner masculine and healing your masculine, strengthening your masculine to hold space for all the chaos and emotions of the feminine, and you are working on your body, your mind, your soul, everything being in alignment with supporting the feminine, and only getting into external action when you know this is the next move for you to make, even though that process may take a lot longer than you would prefer. In so doing, you will learn to value yourself more, and you will only engage in relationships with external masculines, with men. You'll only engage in connections with men that are able to do the same of what you've learned to do internally within yourself. I hope this answered your question. I think I went a lot deeper than you probably were intending, but that's my answer to your question. That is how I see life. Everything is a matter of masculine and feminine energies, and we have to learn how to have the both work together. And when we learn to do that within ourselves, that's when the external relationships and connections and intimacy heals. And we all know that our relationships really need some significant healing. But it starts with this relationship first. I hope this video helped. If anyone else has anything more for me to elaborate on, talk about, if anything I said in this video was confusing or you wish me to speak more on it, please do let me know. I so appreciate all of you for the love and the comments and the support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the work. It is not easy, but it is so worth it. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.